Welcome back. So this is the second class to discuss shaper. So in the previous class we discussed about what is the purpose of a shaping machine. So shaping machine also called as the shaper. So next, what is the working principle of a shaper? After that one, what are the types of shapers? So after that one, how that particular shapers are classified on different or various parameters. So first one is the how that particular cutting tool removes that particular job. So if that particular material or if that particular cutting tool removes the metal, when the cutting tool moves from column to away opposite direction, then it is called as the push type. So second one, if the cutting tool cuts the metal when it moves towards the ram, towards the column, that means when ram moves towards the column, so during cutting stroke, then it is called as the draw type shaper. So based on the motion of the cutting tool, it is called as the one type. Second one, based on the design of the work holding device. So here a working table is required in order to hold that particular job. Based on the design, if the design is very simple, that means if the working table is having only two motions, one is working, one is horizontal motion, another one is the vertical motion. So then it is called as the standard shaper. In addition to these two, that means if the working table can move, in addition to both horizontal and vertical, if it is having two other rotation, two other movements, the two movements are, one is swiveling, that means rotation about a axis, and fourth one is tilting, so that is oscillation. So if that particular working table provided with these four movements, that means one is the vertical movement, second one is the horizontal movement, third one is the swiveling movement, fourth one is the tilting movement. So then it is called as the universal shaper. So in order to produce a complicated flat surface, or if the geometry of the job is somewhat typical or complicated, then by using this particular standard shaper, that particular component produce flat surface. So based on the working table design, it is classified into two types. In the similar way, so in the shaping machine, or the shaper consists two different speeds. That means during the cutting stroke, the cutting tool is in contact with the metal. So the resistance offered to cutting tool is high. So that means during that stroke, the cutting tool or the ram which carries the particular cutting tool moves, or it requires a slow motion. And in the next stroke or in the return stroke, the cutting tool moves without any contact with the job or work. So that means strictly speaks. So there is no metal removal in this particular stroke. That's why it is also called as the ideal stroke or return stroke. So in the ideal stroke, as there is no resistance to the offered to that particular cutting tool, if the cutting tool moves with high velocity, high speed, so there is no problem either to ram or either to cutting tool. The thing or benefit regarding this particular one is the time required for this particular return stroke or ideal stroke decreases. When time decreases for this particular ideal stroke or return stroke, so the total cycle time decreases. So in this way, in order to decrease the time for ideal stroke or return stroke, is called as a quick return mechanism. So based on the return stroke or based on the quick return mechanism, the shapers are classified into three types. So now in the present day class, in the today's class, first we discuss the construction of a shaper. After construction, the next topic is specifications of a shaper. So the specification is simple in each and every topic. The specification of either a element or a machine is very important and is simple. So after the particular specification of shaper, the next topic is we are supposed to discuss is, just now we discuss quick return mechanism. So elaboratedly we should discuss about that particular each and every quick return mechanism. So now in the present class our discussion starts with the construction of a shaper. So already in the previous class we discussed all these things. So this is the working principle, and these are the classification of shaper, horizontal shaper based on the position. Now once again horizontal shaper is classified into 3 categories. So these are different types of classifications. So now, so this is the animation of a shaping machine. So how the shaper works in order to produce a flat surface, it is the animation view. So this is the construction of a shaping machine. This is the construction of a shaping machine. That means a shaper consists all these parts. All these parts. So this is the adjustable sliding support. So very simple. Observe. So the very first part is base. The very first part is base. So it is totally, it is a integrated part. How? In a lathe machine, the bed is a separate part. The remaining parts like headstock, tailstock, they are mounted over a bed. But in this particular shaping machine, the base is a integrated part with column. The base is a integrated part with column. So now the next part is column. So this particular column, it is carry all the elements. What are the all the elements? It supports the ram. In addition to ram, the quick return mechanism required is also mounted within this particular column. Not only quick return mechanism, the power drive required in generally, the power drive required also provided within the column. So it is a rigid structure. So this particular column is a rigid structure because it carries mechanisms. In addition to this one, it also supports this particular ram. So the next one is the ram. So this particular ram. So the next one is the next part of ram is the clapper box. So the clapper box is connected to ram. So next one, after the clapper box, the next one is the tool post or tool holding device. Tool post or tool holding device. So in order to adjust the feed, one tool feed handle is provided on the top of the clapper box. So that particular one is graduated or divided in the units. So next one, this particular is a scale indicator. So what is the length of particular cutting stroke or return stroke? The particular representation of the movement of the ram, that is the scale indicator. So this is the clutch handle. In order to adjust that particular belts or power supply system, this is the clutch handle. So this is the total base required. At the same time, the shaper machine also requires, it also requires to hold the job or to hold the work. In this way, this particular shaping machine also requires a working table, or that particular one is the work table. So this particular work table is two types. One is the standard Second one is the universal. Standard working bench or working table provided with only two motions. That means one is only vertical and horizontal, and the second one with four. That means vertical, next horizontal. In addition to these two, swiveling and tilting. That means four different types of motion. That is the universal working table, also called as the universal shaper. So this particular working table is supporting this particular a special tool called as the vice. So the vice purpose is to hold the job. If the job is a simple one, then this particular job is fixed with the help of a vice. If that particular job is a large one and irregular job, then by using some special tool holding devices, this particular job directly clamped to this working table. So these are the, so this is a cross rail. So this cross rail is used to travel the or to adjust the position of the working bench or working table. So this is the simple construction of this particular shaper or shaping machine. Now we enter into the next topic. What is the function of each and every part? How that particular parts used for various purposes. So the main parts of a shaping machine just now I explained to you. So first one is the base, second is the cross rail, third one is the column, fourth one is the saddle, fifth one is the ram, sixth tool head, seven table, eight clapper box. So there are the eight are the main parts. In addition to that main parts, some other parts are also required for smooth functioning of a shaper or shaping machine. So now this is the line diagram of a shaping machine. Observe, this is a line diagram of a shaper or shaping machine. Observe. These are a simple diagram. In the examination, there is no need to draw the 3D diagram. Only you are supposed to draw this particular two-dimension diagram. That means 2D line sketch or 2D line diagram. So this is the base. If you observe in the previous one, the bottommost part, the previous we are visualizing or we are observing 2D line diagram. In the 2D line diagram, the bottommost part is called as the base. So here it is represented with a separate line diagram, exclusive representation of this particular base, so that clearly you can have idea how this particular base is integrated part of that particular shaper or shaping machine. So now the function of this particular base is it supports the total parts of the machine. Here it represents the other parts, not only other parts. The total components or the complete unit of the shaper is simply mounted over this particular base. That means the base supports the entire units or other remaining parts of the shaper. So not only that particular one. So this particular base is having a hollow portion. So the base is having a hollow portion. Why it is having a hollow portion? In order to reduce the weight of the base. In order to reduce the weight of the base. So that what happened? That particular cavity or that particular empty space of that particular base act as a reservoir. Why this particular reservoir is required? Or what is the necessity of this particular reservoir? Here in this particular shaping machine, what happened? That particular lubricating oil is supposed to be circulate continuously. So, in order to circulation of the particular lubricating oil continuously, it requires a reservoir. So, the cavity or the space provided in the base is acting as a reservoir for continuous supply of lubricating oil. So here that means the base not only supports this particular entire unit, it also acts as reservoir for that particular lubricating oil supply. So in generally, the main important function of the base is it is having capability to observe the vibrations produced during the operation. So now what happened? If this particular base made with cast iron, if this particular base made with cast iron, what happens? The first thing is, it is very easy to cast. So this particular is having a some integrated shapes or intricate shapes. So that's why in order to manufacture this particular component or base, so it is supposed to be produced with the metal casting process. So as this particular base is produced or manufactured with metal casting process, so cast iron metal is best suitable for casting. So this particular topic is we discussed in the previous semester. So cast iron is the metal best suited for the metal casting process. So that is the first one advantage during the manufacturing. Second advantage, if the base is made with cast iron, the cast iron is having a important property. It can absorb vibrations very easily. So that's why, based on these two important properties of the cast iron, remember, so cast iron is having two important properties. What is the first important property? The cast iron is easily, it can castable. So the second thing is, cast iron is the metal which can absorb the vibrations very easily. So based on these two reasons, this particular base is made with cast iron. Remember, it is very, very important. So the next one. Now so far we discuss about base. It is the bottommost part. First point. Second one, it supports all the parts. Second one, it acts as a reservoir for lubricating oil. So the thing, how it is made? It is manufactured with the cast iron. So generally by using metal casting process. What is the specific reason? Because cast iron metal is having good tendency to observe vibrations. So the next column, the next element is column. The column is the very important element which is mounted on that particular base. So observe. In generally, the column is a integrated part. In generally, the column is a integrated part, or simply we can say, during the metal casting process itself, during the metal casting process itself, both base and column are manufactured as a single element, are manufactured as a single element. Majority of the shaping machines are having this special feature. That means base and column are produced or manufactured as a integrated part or as integrated member. That means what we can assume, the column is mounted over the base. So it is the vertically mounted on the base. So mounting means it may be mounted in the horizontal position or on the vertical position. So here in this particular one, what happens? The column is mounted in vertical position or vertical direction over the base. So just at the beginning itself, I clearly explained to you why this particular column is very, very important, or what is the important function of this particular column. Means not only supporting the driving ram. So the ram moves over the column. Not only that particular sliding of ram, it also houses, it also incorporates driving mechanism of the ram. Driving mechanism of the ram. So once again, I will explain to you. The ram is having two different one. One is the cutting stroke. Second one is the return stroke. So in order to reduce the time for cutting return stroke, it requires a separate mechanism. So this particular column carries, or the driving mechanism required for the shaper is incorporated within this particular column. So that's why it is a large volume with internal gap within internal space. The internal space for this particular column is used to provide or to arrange the driving mechanism and power source required for this particular shaper. In the similar way, the hollow space or the gap provided within the base is used for acting as a reservoir for oil, lubricating oil. So that's why this particular column carries driving mechanism of the ram. Here what happened? That particular RAM is supposed to slide over the column. The RAM which is observed on the top portion of the column is supposed to slide over the column. So then only cutting tool slides from one point to another point in a single direction or in a unique direction. So in order to provide or in order to allow the sliding of the RAM, the top portion of the column is provided with guideways. The top portion of the column is provided with guideways. Observe some similarities between a lathe and a shaper. In lathe also what happened? In order to provide traveling for saddle or for tailstock, the lathe bed is provided with guideways. Of course, there the sliding element or moving element over the bed are two. One element is the tailstock, second element is the saddle or carriage. So saddle is a single element, whereas the total combination of saddle, compound rest, tool post is considered as the carriage. So here that particular elements to travel over the lathe bed are two. That's why lathe bed requires two guideways. One is the inner guideways, another one is the outer guideways. Whereas in this particular one, the element to be slide on the column, the top of the column is only one single element. What is that element? Single element RAM. So that's why the top portion of the column is provided or inbuilt with guideways. Remember, during the manufacturing itself, the particular guideways are inbuilt to this particular column. So what is the function? What is the specific requirement of the guideways? Very simple. In order to allow the sliding of RAM over the column. That is the function or importance of the guideways over the column. So next, similarly, just now we discuss both base and column, even though we are considering two elements or two separate parts, but in the manufacturing process, both are manufactured, as a single member or as a integrated part. That's why this particular column by default it is also made with cast iron. The reasons for using cast iron material for this particular column is the same as of that particular base. First thing is the column is produced or manufactured by using casting process. So caster is the best suitable. Second one, what happened? The RAM which slides continuously with varying velocities. Second one, this particular column also carries the driving mechanism and required power source. That means motor. So that's what. So that what happened? This particular column always subjected to vibrations. So in order to observe that particular vibrations also, this column is manufactured or made with cast iron. So that's why vibrations produced either due to varying speed of the RAM or continuous running of this particular driving mechanism and power source are easily observed. So that is the reason why this particular column is made or manufactured with the cast iron. So the next third element is RAM. The third element is RAM. This particular element is called as RAM. Don't get confused, as the RAM is represented in a box. RAM is a component on the top surface of this particular element. Don't get confused. For your understanding only, the RAM is represented within a box, but this particular part is called as the RAM. So what is the function of the RAM? What is the function of the RAM? The function of the RAM is to slide over the column. The function of the RAM is to slide over the column. Okay, very good, very clear. So the main function of the RAM is, or the function of the working of the RAM is simply not to rotate or not to travel on any line. So the simple working principle always, whenever we are supplying power, whenever simply motor is power supplied, immediately the particular RAM starts sliding over the column. Why that particular RAM slides over the column, or what is the requirement of this particular sliding for motion for this particular RAM? Because the RAM slides over the column. Observe very carefully. The RAM slides over the over the column, and at one end, at one end, it carries the important part. What is that important part in any machine? The important part is cutting tool. Remember, the main important part is cutting tool. Always it is very, very essential. If cutting tool is not provided in the proper position or with the proper gripping, the required functioning, what is the required functioning? Ultimate machining. The machining may be flat surface or cylindrical surface. The required function, that is machining, is not performed properly. So in order to perform the machining process properly, that particular important tool, cutting tool, whether it be single point cutting tool or multi-point cutting tool, in generally, the tool used in a lathe machine is a single point cutting tool. In this particular shaper also, the cutting tool used is the single point cutting tool. But in some cases, the cutting tool may be used. In only some cases, special cases, the cutting tool used may be multi-point cutting tool, no problem. But here, what it may be the type of cutting tool, that particular cutting tool is supposed to be attached to that particular RAM. How that particular cutting tool is supposed to be attached to the RAM directly? It is not possible, because with the help of a intermediate element, with the help of a intermediate element, what is that intermediate element? That is the clapper box. That means the purpose of the sliding of the RAM is to carry the tool travel, so that what happen, the cutting tool or tool holding device or tool holder is attached to the clapper box, and clapper box is fixed to this particular at one end or free end of this particular RAM. So that's why the sliding is very, very important for this particular RAM. It carries two lead. It carries two lead. How it carries two lead, or how the two lead is attached to the RAM? With the help of the clapper box. With the help of the clapper box. Next, in order to provide suitable velocity, in order to provide suitable velocity, or in order to provide required speed for that particular cutting tool, this particular RAM is connected to driving mechanism. This particular RAM is connected to driving mechanism. So this is the next part, table, or also called as the working table. So the working table is very, very important. Just now, in the previous class, during the classification of types of shapers, we discussed based on the working table, shapers are classified as two types. One is the standard shaper, second one is the universal shaper. So that's why this particular table is also very, very important part or an important element for this particular shaper. So how this particular table is provided, or how this particular table is a part of a shaper? How we are observing this particular table, it is similar to a box. It is a similar to a box. That means the internal portion is having it full or major maximum cavity portion. So how it is having? It is having the T slots on the top portion. How the design of the table, or what are these particular grooves? These are the T slots. These are the T slots. So this particular table consists T slots on the top portion. So the function of, or the purpose of the providing T slots is, so in order to keep, or in order to attach the job to this particular table, either directly or with the help of the vise. So the next one, this particular shaper vise. Shaper vise is a one type of tool holding one type of work holding device. So if the work or job is a simple one, then by using a shaper vise, the job is mounted over the table. Or if the job is a irregular shape, then by using different types of work holding device, that are clamps, T-bolts, next remaining by using other different types of work holding device, the job is clamped, the job is clamped to the table directly. But if it is a simple one, smaller one, the job need not to be mounted or clamped to the work table directly. So simply by fixing it in the vise, so this particular vise is called as the shaper vise, because this vise is suitable mainly for shaping machine. That's why it is called as shaper vise. So this particular, if it is simple job, the job is mounted or inserted within the shaper vise directly. So that particular shaper vise is clamped to the table with the help of the T-bolts. So just how I explained, it is a simple job. The job is fixed in the shaper vise. If it is a complicated, irregular or large size object, then it is mounted to the working table directly. Table also called as the working table. So next one is the cross rail. So what is the cross rail? So this particular one, cross rail, used to move the table up and down. Here observe, the working table is not fixed directly to the base. The working table should not fix directly to the base of the shaping machine. So it is fixed at a certain height. It is fixed at a certain height. So how the height of the working table is supposed to be adjusted? With the help of a device, with the help of a element. That element is called as a cross rail. That element is called as a cross rail. So this particular working table is adjusted within the grooves of this particular cross rail. This particular working table is adjusted within the grooves of a cross rail. So by giving rotation, what happens? This particular working table moves along this particular grooves of that particular cross rail. That means the cross rail is very, very important in order to adjust the position of the table or working table within a machine. It is also called as used to move the job, used to move the job or used to move the table up and down position in order to make contact between job and cutting tool. So this particular, the cross rail may use it to move, the cross rail is used to move the work table in both upward position and in the downward position. How it is lifted or how the upward movement is possible for this particular working table? Simply by using an elevating screw. By elevating, the name itself called elevating. What is the meaning of elevating? Projecting upward. Projecting upward is called as the elevation or elevating. So here the name itself called as elevating means by using a screw, by rotation of that particular screw, that particular elevating screw causes for lifting the working table in the upward direction. In that way, the rotation of or the elevating screw causes to lift the working table in the upward direction. So in the similar way, what happened? So this particular side movement, this particular working table requires two different types. One is the vertical motion, another is the horizontal motion. So by using this elevating screw, the vertical motion is controlled. In the similar way, the working table requires a horizontal motion also. In order to control the horizontal motion, or in order to control the horizontal movement, one side movement is controlled by lead screw. That means it is the function of the cross rail. So not only considering elevating screw, this particular cross rail also consists in lead screw. So the movement of this particular lead screw, the movement of the particular lead screw causes horizontal position or horizontal movement of this particular working tool. So that means the cross rail is an element which carries two important screws. One is the elevating screw, another one is the lead screw. Elevating screw is used to control up and down movements. And second thing, side movement is used to control horizontal movement for this particular working table. That means whether the working table, either it is supposed to adjust near to column or it's supposed to be adjusted far away from the column. That adjustment is done with the help of the cross rail. So observe very carefully. The cross rail is very important. What is the important function of the cross rail? The important function of the cross rail is to adjust the position of the job in such a way that the cutting tool make contact with the job. So that is the important functional purpose of this particular cross rail. So the next one is the saddle. So observe. So how this particular saddle is attached to the cross rail? So it is mounted on the cross rail. So now what happened? The working table is supposed to be travel along a particular line or along particular guideways. So that particular provision, that means how that particular working table is supposed to move over the along with that particular cross rail means with the help of the saddle. So this particular saddle, it is mounted on the cross rail. It is mounted on the cross rail. So just now we discuss lead screw and elevating screw. How just now elevating screw and lead screw are used to move only, but that particular working table requires one support to move, or it should move some along some grooves. So that is the saddle. So the saddle is mounted on the cross rail. The saddle is mounted on the cross rail. So it supports the table. Supports the table. Observe, don't get confused. The lead screw or elevating screw are used to control the motion, but not to provide the or not to support the table. The table is supported on the saddle. As the saddle is mounted on the cross rail, that particular table is mounted on that particular cross rail only. That means table is mounted on the cross rail with the help of the saddle only. That is the important function of that particular saddle. So this particular saddle, it moves across the cross rail left side to right side. So this particular movement obtained with help of a cross feed screw. So this particular mechanism is having different types of screw. Observe, don't get confused. Elevating screw, next one is the lead screw, and the next one is the feed screw. So this particular movement to the saddle is obtained with the help of the cross feed screw. So next one is the tool head. Next one is the tool head. So observe, this particular one is called as the tool head. This particular one in which this cutting tool is inserted is called as the tool head. So simply the name itself indicates tool head. It is the device which carries that particular tool. So this is the tool post. This particular cutting tool is mounted or inserted within a tool. The tool post is assembled to this particular tool head. So this is the clapper box. This is the clapper box. So the tool head is attached to the front end portion of that particular ram. The tool head is attached to front end of the ram. So the back end is connected with that particular. The back end is connected with that particular driving mechanism side, whereas the front end is towards the job or towards the work. So this particular tool head, it is attached to the front end of the ram with the help of the screws or fastening devices. So this particular tool head, it is attached to one end or one side, it is attached to that particular ram. At the same side, at the other side, not same side, at the other side, it also carries a clapper box. This particular part, observe, this particular part, it is having some curve position. This particular part is a clapper box. Observe, what is the function, why the particular clapper box is provided. So that means I explain the next one. So this particular tool head, one side it is connected to ram, and at the same at the other side it is carries or it is connected with the clapper box. The clapper box is connected with the tool post. So now here we are having one doubt. Why the tool post is not connected to the tool head directly? Why this particular tool post is connected to tool head via or through the clapper box? So the reason for clapper box is I explain the next one. So but the thing is, tool head is used to carry the tool post. For that particular purpose, it's one of its edge or one of its side is connected to the RAM. At the same time, its other side is connected to clapper box. The clapper box is connected to tool post directly. So this particular tool head can be swiveled at any angle on either side. It can be swiveled at any angle. That means in, the rotation may take place either on the ram side, should that particular tool head where it may be rotating about to ram side, or it may be rotated about to clapper box side. That means it can be swiveled at any angle on both sides. That means either on the ram side or on the clapper box side. So next one is the clapper box. It is a hinge to the tool head. Observe carefully. It is a hinged element. Clapper box is a hinged element. So it is hinged to that particular tool head. Clapper box is hinged to the tool head. So it houses with a clapper block. So this particular one is the clapper block. So the total unit is called as the clapper box. The intermediate or in between element is called as the clapper block. The clapper block function or purpose is to mount or to hold the tool post. So this particular clapper box swings outward in return stroke. So that is the major function of that particular clapper box. So it is swings about in the return stroke in the outward direction. So tool post mounted on the clapper box. So whenever this particular clapper box swings, immediately tool post mounted on that particular clapper box also swings during that particular return stroke. So because of the swinging only, the cutting tool jump over that particular job in the return stroke. So far we discuss about the construction of a shaping machine. So far we discuss about the construction of a shaping machine or either regarding the important parts of a shaping machine. So shaper machine consists not only with this particular 8 parts, it consists of various elements. It, in order to provide motion, it requires number of gears, number of pinions, number of joining elements. But we are not consider that there is no need to consider all the parts as important parts. These eight parts are very, very important parts for functioning, and the remaining function is just to assemble or to provide motion or movement for that particular ram only. But these are the basic construction of this particular one. So after the particular construction, the next important is, in order to establish a shaping machine or in order to give indent to for requirement of a shaping machine, it is very, very important or it is very, very essential to represent or to present the requirements of that particular machine. So what are the different requirements? So that requirements are supposed to be mentioned, or the presentation or give that particular representation is called as the specification of a shaping machine. Now we are supposed to look after, now we are supposed to go through the what are the different types of specification required for a shaping machine. So the very first one is, the shaping machine or shaper is supposed to be specified with the maximum length of stroke of the ram. So it is very, very important. If a job width to be produced a flat surface is 400 mm, then it requires a shaping machine of stroke length more than 400 mm. Understand or not? A job width is to be produce a flat surface is 400 mm, then it requires a shaping machine of minimum stroke length is more than 400 mm. But by unfortunate, if a particular shaping machine of maximum stroke length of 300 mm is provided or purchased, then that particular shaper or shaping machine of maximum stroke length 300 mm is not at all suitable to produce a flat surface on a job of 400 mm. So that's why based on the requirement, first we are supposed to specify what is the maximum length of stroke of the ram. So that means by converting or by altering that particular quick return mechanism or by altering that particular driving mechanism, the length of stroke may be adjusted either for minimum value to maximum value, but it is not possible to increase the movement of the ram above or beyond that particular maximum length of stroke. That's why the very important specification is what is the length of the stroke of ram or maximum length of stroke of the ram. So the second one is type of the drive. So this particular shaper requires a quick return mechanism. So which type of drive or which type of mechanism is provided for this particular purpose? So that is the second important specifications. So third one is the what is the type of input power? What is the type of input power? So it is supplied with electrical power or hydraulic power. What it may be the type of the power provided or used to operate this particular shaping machine. So the second one, the next one important one is the floor space required. How the floor space is specified? Based on the length and width of the base. What is the meaning of the floor space? Based on the length and width of that particular base, and not only length and width. In addition to the length and width, some other distance are also supposed to be considered to add for that particular floor space, because the movement of one person, that operator or manpower, is required to move that particular shaping machine in the four sides. So for that particular purpose, based on the dimensions of that particular base, floor space is also supposed to be specified. Next, total weight of the machine. What is the total weight of the machine? This particular specification is very important during loading and unloading of the shaping machine. If the weight of the machine is not known properly, or if the weight of the machine is not specified, it is not possible what is the power required or what is the device required. Suppose if it is a small weight, simply by using a tripod, that particular machine is lifted to a particular, or it should load it to any machine, any traveling or moving vehicle. At the same time, if its weight is very large, then tripod may not support to that particular lifting of that. Then in that particular case, cranes or hydraulic jacks may provided or may use to lift that particular shaping machine either for during loading or unloading. So that's why weight of the machine is very important. That means the specification of weight of the machine is very important. So next, what is the velocity ratio or speed ratio for cutting to return stroke? So at the beginning itself, what we discuss? During the ideal stroke or during the return stroke, that particular cutting tool moves or travels with high speed or with a high moment. So that is called as the return stroke. In the similar way, during the cutting stroke, it moves with a somewhat slow velocity. Why it is moving with slow velocity? That means during the cutting stroke, if the tool or ram moves with high velocity or high speed, it may cause for breaking of the cutting tool. So that is the reason during the cutting stroke, it should move with slow velocity. During the return stroke, it should move with high velocity. So here in this particular important specification, what is the ratio of that particular cutting stroke to return stroke? So next one is the feed. So what is that particular feed to be provided to that particular working table? So that specification, that is one rotation of that particular screw is produced. What is the distance traveled by the working table is called as the feed. So the particular feed is also an important specification for a shaping machine. So in this way, the construction and specifications of shaping machine completed. So the next topic to be discussed. So for this particular class, that particular construction or parts of shaper or shaping machine is completed. In addition to that particular construction, specification of a shaper is also discussed or completed. So with this particular class, second class is concluded or completed in this particular discussion of shaping machine or shaper. So in the next class, or that means in the third class, we should discuss about different mechanisms required
in order to provide different speed ratios for cutting stroke to ideal stroke. So I think in the next class only one mechanism may be one mechanism may be completed. In this way, totally we are having three mechanisms. I think for a hydraulic system, for hydraulic method, hardly half class, but remaining 2 to 2.5 class are required to discuss about remaining three important driving mechanisms. The driving mechanisms are also called as the quick return mechanisms.